Hello, Vanguardians. This is Anthony from Epic CFV 365 coming at you with
Jason.
Also from Epic CFV 365, and we're going to be doing a
Messiah's Ling Joker deck.
And we are here at Game Time here in Clemens, which is our locals. So don't forget, like, subscribe buttons are down below. Be sure to leave a comment with what you think. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And for the deck profile.
Alrighty. So starter, Neon Messiah, comes out of the trial deck. When he's unlocked, you can push him into Soul, search your deck for a copy of the grade 3, which is Alter Ego. And I just use him all the time. He's better than all the other ones just because that's a free Alter Ego. You need him. Alright, so 3s. I run 4 Alter Egos. You get 2 in the trial deck, and I order 2 extra ones. He's the what we call Break Strider, GB2. Whenever any unit is unlocked, you can Soul Blast 1, draw an extra card for it. And his stride skill is when you stride on top of him, you can lock one of your own, lock one of your opponents, and whatever you stro gets an extra 5k power. And this is kind of the controversial part right here. A lot of people don't like this. I'm going to run 4 Infinite Zero, but I have an extra grade 3 just thrown in as a proxy kind of. He is the Break Rider from the first trial deck that Ling Joker came out of. His break ride is when you ride on him, the thing gets 10k. You get to lock a front and a back row on your opponent's side of the field. And that's crazy because if I break ride an Alter Ego on him, that's 2 free locks right there. And I don't even have to stride that turn to get the power off of it. That just keeps part of the opponent's field down. Alright, so bringing out the 2s. I run 4 Lady Battler of the Gravity Well. It's kind of a staple right now. Her activated skill is a G-Break 1. You can lock one of your own rear guards. She gets an extra 4k for the turn. She goes very well with Amnesty Messiah. I'll get to that one later. Grade 2 Awakening Messiah. I'm running 4 right now, but I'll be switching that to 3 when Moonlit Dragon Fang comes out, and I'll tell you why later. His G-Break 1 is whenever he is unlocked by any means, you get to choose one of your other units, stand it, and it gets an extra 2k power. Alright, and this is the one I'm going to be taking out, but he's very useful right now, is Heavy Material Dragon. Also a G-Break 1, you counterblast 1, lock one of your own, you drop a card, you get to draw 2 more. Alright, down to grade 1s, I run 2 Asleep Messiah, aka Vanillas, pretty standard. They're coming out also when the next set comes. I run 3 Stride Fodder Destiny Dealers. You call it, reveal a grade 3, you get to search for Alter Ego, then you drop a card. And of course, he turns into a grade 3 when you stride with him. I run 3 of the, well, I'm going to change it to 3, but I run 4 right now, of the promo Metal Chameleons. Basically, when he's unlocked, you get to countercharge 1. So I usually go full backfield of these things, lock them all with Amnesty and Gravity Battlers on the field, and then I just get to countercharge 3 at the end of that turn. So it's crazy for replenishing your resources. Also, it has resist, so things like Haguro and stuff can't choose it to retire. Alright, and of course I run 4 of the countercharging PGs. Alright, so for zeros, I run 4 heals. Let me go and spread these out. 4, 8, 10 crit. And I'm going to be changing this, and I like to run 2 stands, and this stand in particular because he is very cool. He is the grade 0 version of Starvader Palamadium, where you can counterblast 1, and at the end of your opponent's turn, if a unit would unlock, you flip 1, you push him into the soul, you get to relock that unit. So I'm going to be changing him to 4. Alright, so for the stride zone, this is going to change also when the new set comes out. I run 1 Judgment Messiah from the trial deck. When you stride with him, basically if he hits, you get to lock one of your opponent's units, and you get to unlock one of your units. And this is the big one. I run 3 Amnesties right now. He's the big killer for this deck right now. So when he attacks, you counterblast 1, and you get to choose any number of units on the field. You unlock them. He gets 3k for every unit unlocked, and if you unlock 3 or more, he gets an extra crit. So the best way to use him that I found is to have him up front, stride on top of Alter Ego, lock one of your own, lock an opponent. You call 2 Lady Battlers, 1 on each side. You lock your entire backfield, and then you just swing with the 2 Lady Battlers, and if you have an Awakening Messiah locked, you can stand one of them later. And then you swing with him, unlock your entire back row. He gets the 3k, which is usually just 9 total, and then the crit. Then you boost with whatever's behind him. So usually ends up being 47,000 with a double crit, and that usually kills people right there. And right here, 2 of these are coming out, but right now I run 4 Nebula Crunch Dragons. He's kind of like the Root Flare for Link Joker. Basically, you counterblast 1, flip a copy of them. If you have 2 or more cards face up in the G zone, you get to pick an entire column on your side of the field, or your opponent's side of the field, and Omega Lock them. And that just keeps it down for a whole turn. Well, 2 turns, really.
Alright, so I believe you already discussed this, but all the changes you're going to be making for stuff out of the new sets?
Yeah, so the PGs are going to stay the same. The grade 1 lineup is going to change. I'm switching to 3 Chameleon because eventually, when the next set comes out, I'm going to be taking out the 2 Asleep Messiahs, 1 Stride Fodder, and 1 Chameleon for Sacrifice Messiah that comes out in Moonlit Dragonfang. Basically, he is a 7k GB1, and his skill says if you have a grade 3 or greater Messiah on the field as your Vanguard, basically whenever one of your units is unlocked due to one of your own effects, you can lock him, countercharge 1, give one of your other units 3k power. So I'm going to run 4 of him, 3 Chameleons, and then the 4 PGs, so that's a lot of unflipping for my resources right there. I'm going to be able to pull off a lot of extra skills because of that. The 2 lineup is going to change a lot too. I'm taking out 1 of the Awakening and all 3 of the Heavy Metal Dragons for what's called Arrestor Messiah, and his ability is actually a little more complicated. I kind of need to look it up here. Okay, he has a G-Break 1. And when he's placed on rear guard, as long as I have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Messiah in its name, until end of the turn, he gets 2,000 power, so he becomes an 11k. And he gets an auto skill, where at the end of the battle that he attacks a Vanguard, I can pay the cost, which is to lock himself. And if I do, I can choose 1 unit on either player's field in the back row and lock it. So basically, that's 2 free locks no matter what you do. And it's really crazy because of the new grade 4 that's coming out later on. I'm about to get to him right now. The only thing that'll change with the 3s is I'm going to switch out the random Lady Gunner that I've got. So here's what's going to change for the strides. I'm going to keep the 3 Amnesties. That's going to be a staple for me. I'm probably not going to run 4. That's too much. I am taking out 2 of the Nebula Crunch for the new Exilix Messiah that is coming out. And I'll go and look him up. He's the bigger version of Amnesty here. Basically, what Exilix Messiah does is he counterblasts 1, and he flips a copy of Amnesty from the G-Zone. And then when he attacks, as long as I have an Amnesty face up, I can pay the cost. And then I choose any number of units that are locked and unlock them. And all of my units unlocked get 3k power for all of the units unlocked, and then I retire all of my opponent's rear guards that I unlock with it. So if I pull it off right, I can clear a field, and I can power mine up pretty insanely. And he also gets a crit, like Amnesty, if there are 3 or more units unlocked. So he gets really big, really quick, and the rear guards are really what you need to worry about in this deck. Amnesty is kind of like the front for it.
So basically that's going to be like Quasar for Vanguard.
Yeah, pretty much. And the only other thing that I'm going to change, I'm taking out Judgment Messiah for a Fighters Collection 2015 winter card called Starvader Quintessence Dragon. And it's pretty much the Infinite Zero stride, which is actually why I run Infinite Zero in the first place. Because if I stride that unit on top of Infinite Zero, I get to number 1, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, lock a front and back row unit on my opponent's side of the field. Then if I have 4 more damage, that turns into an Omega Lock, which is insane because now I actually have a reason to stride over him or Alter Ego. So that buys me even more time right there. And next turn, I can break ride, do the same thing again. My opponent will have 4 units locked, and I'll be all set to just keep going with that.
Alright, that was a Link Joker Messiah deck profile. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe buttons are down below. Check us out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for our videos. Check out the links down below to Big Ink Collectibles. That's where we get our stuff from. And remember, folks, if you're going to card fight, make it epic.